Alright folks, what's the crack? Welcome back, and today's video was completely different than what I normally do, but it really pissed me off for the last while. It's did Christian Miracle steal one of my videos? More importantly, the Everything Wrong with Brand Sins video. You may know him as the guy who does the Everything Wrong with WWE pay-per-views, live events, all that kind of stuff. And he's stolen one of my videos completely. So with that in mind, and with all the YouTube drama going on now with GradeAUnderA making that brilliant video exposing Matthew Santoro for a plagiarizing bastard, I thought I'd do the same. So as you can see here, I made one video and he made a second video, a second one, a week or two later. So now I'm going to expose the shit out of him and why his video is completely stolen from mine. I'm going to play them back to back so you can see for yourself. So without any further ado, let's get straight into this.
The fact that there is almost a cult-like following for the over-the-top choreographed fighting brand is enough to be the absolute worst.
Never mind the KKK or all those brainwashed cults.
This guy treats WWE fans as a religious group.
Okay, so once is fine, once is just a coincidence, that's fair enough, even though I did put up pictures of the KKK and a picture of the plane flying into 9/11 insinuating religion, and he just happened to go with religion. But once is a coincidence, fair enough. However, in saying that, keep in mind the phrases and the words used in the next clip about Owen Hart.
The show continued after he had died in the ring, and the audience never knew he had passed.
Lies. We all know JR told the live television audience that Owen had passed away in the most somber terms possible. Also, it's hard to believe that the audience wouldn't have known something was wrong, considering they all saw Owen Hart fall from the rafters onto a turnbuckle.
Never knew he had passed.
Yes they did. Those who attended the event clearly saw him fall a long way down and land on the turnbuckle or ropes, one or the other. Either way, anyone who would see something like that and then see a bunch of medical personnel show would know that he was either severely injured or dead. And that's just for those in attendance. For the rest watching at home, Jim Ross made it pretty clear that Owen Hart had died.
Okay, so a lot was said there. He brought up the turnbuckles just like I did. He brought up Jim Ross just like I did. He brought up the fact that people in the building would know just like I did. It's starting to get a little bit coincidental now, isn't it? You've got to also remember that this is the chap's second video on the topic, so why couldn't he have said all these the first time round? The turnbuckle, Jim Ross telling people at home, and the crowd were three obvious things, but he didn't say them in his original video.
15 years later, WWE decided it would be a good idea to air the event on the WWE Network, but they edited out all of his appearances in the event.
Well, obviously it's on the network. It was a WWE pay-per-view, the same way that Chris Benoit's matches are still on the WWE Network.
They aired it on the WWE Network because it was a WWE pay-per-view. If the WWE Network is playing Chris Benoit's matches from his career, then they would air this.
Wow, so as I'm sure you can now see, that was damn near word for word, talking about the fact that it's still a pay-per-view that's shown on the WWE Network, just like the same way that Chris Benoit's matches are on the WWE Network. Fuck this guy, man. Also, watch me destroy Christian Miracle and how your man talks about not honouring Owen Hart's memory. Watch this.
I'm counting this as a sin because I'm sure they could have figured out a better way to honour this man's memory.
They did, dumbass.
Better way to honor this man's memory.
In the previous sin video, this one, I mentioned that he was too lazy to research and made an assumption only, but let's not forget that they did have a better way to honor his memory. They paid tribute to him the next night called Raw is Owen. Did you not know about that?
Right back at you, bitch.
There you go. I mean, is that not absolutely obvious? So he actually gives the guy in the video shit for not doing his research, yet he didn't put that again in his own first original video. How obvious was that for something to miss? Like this, honestly man, how are you going to defend yourself from this?
It was later discovered that the then CEO was involved in distributing the drugs to the wrestlers.
What's up with then CEO? In 1991, Vince has been the CEO since like 1984 or something.
Not only does he not mention Vince McMahon's name, but he addressed him as the former CEO when Vince has been CEO since 1984.
You see, I said like 1984 for a reason, because I was responding to the video off the top of my head. He just took 1984 without even researching it or anything and just went with it. I mean, he just took all my other shit, so why not take the 1984 as well, right?
Despite the fact that this was definitely happening and probably still happening.
And once again we see how little research he's actually done into this video when he says probably still happening today, even though any wrestling fan knows that there's a really strict wellness policy in place for the last 5 years.
Probably still happening.
This dumbass obviously doesn't know about WWE's wellness policy and how strict they are about the usage of steroids for years.
I mean, where do I begin on this one? Do I bring up the fact that he brought up the wellness policy? Do I bring up the fact that he said multiple years? Do I bring up the fact that he didn't put this in his original video again? I mean, these are the most simplest basic responses to the points in the original video, but he hasn't put them in his video. He's stolen them from me and made a second video because he's missed out on all the main points the first time around. And if you thought that was bad, wait till you see what's coming up next, because he has ripped off me so much in this next clip. Wait till you see.
Which gives the show almost as much credibility as ABC's The Bachelor.
So, wait a minute, television shows are scripted? And they have to be entertaining to a mass audience? Whoa, fuck. And comparing wrestling to The Bachelor? Oh my god, you might as well compare The Bachelor to any other television show ever, you fucking idiot, man.
Hey buddy, get this. I heard a rumor about this TV show called The Walking Dead. As it turns out, all that stuff you saw with the zombies was not real. And apparently those guys were following a script. What's a script?
And that, I believe, you call a smoking gun. So let's start from the top, shall we? He puts on a sarcastic voice, just like me. He uses popular television shows, just like me. And then points out that they're scripted to audiences, just like me. I wonder where he got that point of view from, huh? Now, if you still happen to be thinking to yourself, well, that's just a coincidence, I have one last little clip here for your approval. Of all the words in the English dictionary, what word would you use to describe Scotty Too Hotty? Just out of curiosity. Because wouldn't it be really, really, really coincidental if I used one word and this Christian Maracle fella happened to use the same word? Wouldn't that just be a little dooze of a coincidence? Well, let's have a little look-see here, will we?
Scotty Too Hotty.
Legend.
Scotty Too Hotty.
Scotty Too Hotty is a legend, motherfucker.
I can't believe it!
Yep, there you go. He done did it. He used the exact same word that I did to describe Scotty Too Hotty. So there you go. There's all my evidence that I have put forth in a neat little package. I mean, I wouldn't even get that pissed off just that people like GradeA and everyone are talking about plagiarism right now. So filthy little thieves like that need to be called out. I'm only a small channel versus this much bigger channel than his. The video has less than 1,000 views, yet he decides to steal it. You know, he's not very Christian, is he, if he's going to steal some of my stuff? And also, while we're on the subject, what's up with his copyright infringement and gimmick infringement when wrestlers do other people's chants and moves? It's ridiculous. Stop doing that shit, man. It's absolute nonsense. I hope you enjoyed, guys. I hope you have finally seen that this guy isn't worth a wank, and he actually goes and deletes comments from his videos so people won't find out where the actual source is. But I will leave you in the capable hands of the great Neil deGrasse Tyson.
And by the way, this is called gravity.